Hello, and welcome to an introduction to OpenHive and the features and benefits very quickly as to what it could offer you and your school. OpenHive was developed with integration and simplicity in mind. So using the technologies of integration with your school's MIS system, we're able to take a wealth of data such as timetable, identity, attendance, behaviour, parental information, to integrate these services into multiple services that you'll see very shortly. Also as well, using such MIS integration, which obviously from a school's perspective is a great way that they can improve the accuracy of their data, but also starting to look at how teachers want to reduce the number of usernames and passwords that are used to access multiple systems. So OpenHive is integrated with a single sign-on solution that also integrates directly to its own services, but also gives schools the ability to be able to add other solutions to this single identity. So when you talk about using things like Grid Club, Education City, Espresso, such solutions that allow under this single OpenHive identity that once you're logged on to OpenHive, you're also logged on to those associated services as well. So taking us logged into OpenHive and landing first initially at the portal, you can see across the top we have what we call the B bar. This is what gives me the single sign-on solution that allows me to access my email, to access my OCS or Office Communication services for MSN and video conferencing, learning, the VLE, as well as other various tools that can be offered as part of OpenHive. OpenHive can support and service the school if you want to be the school's website, so displaying the front page in terms of information about contact information, heads messages and so forth. Cleverly using the MIS data, we integrate and inject the timetable information directly into the portal. This creates the basic structures of staff, students, family, activities and so forth. But also using that timetable then we display that in several ways. First of all, when teachers and students log in, we display their timetable so that they're able to understand where they are for the day. But also then we're able to use that MIS data to create different workspaces for different departments. So if I go off into the geography pages, this is populated from the MIS system that understands which students and teachers take geography in the school. The cleverness to this is then the idea that once a new student arrives at school, once they're provisioned into the MIS system, the data is automatically taken from the MIS into OpenHive ID and then populates portals so they have access to their areas as they need to. Moving down into some of the kind of key benefits behind portals, one of the criticisms that I've always kind of worked with within VLEs is around the basics of document management. The idea that what teachers would like to be able to do is just place a document that the students need to have access to and then be able to open it direct from the VLE and save it back to the VLE. So no longer having to open a document, making an edit change, saving it to the network, then opening the VLE, going to your course, upload a document, browse for the document, and then finally getting that back in. That's what teachers tend to criticise as being too much involved. So actually what I'll do is I'll photocopy it and hand it out 25 times. So once I've got the document open, I can add some example text to that piece of document. And then if I choose to do File and Save, that document will now be saved direct back to the portal, as you can see located across the bottom here, so that I can actually set up this document and use it multiple times, make edit changes to it, and never have to create a new example of the document. If I now close that document down, what I've also got is the ability that this single document, although this is now just one copy, if I have a look at the options for this document, I can see at the bottom my version history. So I can actually roll back to a previous version of this document if I want to. It's also often quite a big criticism in terms of using how to get documents into the portal. Don't want to necessarily have to do it document by document, but what I'd like to be able to do is just use the simple drag and drop facilities that we're all used to from the network to get my documents into the portal quickly and easily. So here you can see that these are a list of the documents that are already available in the portal, and if I now bring up my folder of my OpenHive folder, then actually I can just now simply drag and drop documents across into the folder, and in this instance here I've got a duplicate document. This all allows people to be able to consider OpenHive as being a simple but flexible tool so that actually I can very quickly use the portal and get my department pages set up with the documents that students need to have access to and so forth. Moving on from Portal in terms of some of the other facilities that are available, using this MIS data, we start to do some clever kind of things with using the email system. So if I go into my email client, as you guys can see, first and foremost, we use the MIS data so that the timetable populates into the global address book for your Exchange email service. So a teacher that wants to send an email to class can very simply navigate through their address book, and here I could send an email to 8xen1 saying don't forget your homework for next Friday's lesson. Likewise, that data is then used in clever ways so that actually the calendar for students and for teachers is populated from the MIS system to show them their timetable for the day. Now obviously the Exchange service from OpenHive is available to be on client, but also as well mobile devices. So whether or not you allow students to use their mobiles with their email, or whether or not teachers as well can have their timetable on the move. Moving into learning, learning allows teachers to be able to assess students' work, but also start to look at personalising work. And I'll show you a very brief example of a couple of things you can do. In Profile, we allow teachers and we allow students to be able to personalise their own desktop, so they can see their own desktop background, personalise the colour and presentation, but actually feel that they own the VLE as part of their learning. Moving into teaching, obviously, as part of what we're able to do, we can deliver from the timetable the classes that I teach, and if OpenHive Bridge is in place, then that is seamlessly updating according to the frequencies that I've set. So if I take Solar System and decide to edit the course that I've already set up, I can decide to set particular activities within units and within courses. But when I'm actually starting to deliver work, what I can actually start to do is look at how I assign pieces of work. So very quickly, learning about the planets in our solar system, I can decide using the school photographs from the MIS system that I quickly want all of the students in this group to have access to this piece of work. Once I've given the access to this piece of work, I can then actually assign the targets so that up front, before students commence their piece of work, we can help them understand what we want them to achieve, rather than at the end of the work actually telling them the areas we want them to improve on. But likewise, when you consider the power of what learning can deliver, if I consider assignment and look at students individually, that actually I can start to strategically place work in front of individual groups as I teach them. So whether we're considering our CD borderliners, gifted and talented, SEN students, or areas that we want to do extension or reinforcement around the particular topics that we're learning. I've taken the opportunity to log in as a student now, so you can see what a student is able to do as part of OpenHive. If I navigate to the Student tab, as we commented earlier on, the MIS integration allows me to be able to show to students when they log in and land on their page their timetable for the day. I've also got briefed in terms of details my current coursework and homework that I've got across all of my subjects, and also as well as part of the VLE, students can have one-to-one dialogue with their teacher around a particular topic of learning. So if I decide I want to go into the OpenHive solar system, and this allows me to go into learning to be able to see what a student can do. One of the key considerations when we developed OpenHive was that as part of the integration, we didn't want to take people just under single sign-on to the front page for all systems. So as you can see here as a student, I've actually been taken directly to that piece of work that is listed on my portal page as being my current homework. If I decide to interact, I've got an ability to be able to see my progress, so I can see how I've been doing in this particular subject this year. I can also have a look at the targets that have been set for this particular piece of work. And one of the key things in terms of me being able to interact with the work is when I look at the idea of how do I submit my coursework, we use the mentality of Dropbox. Now, Dropbox is the ability that actually if I upload my work directly to this piece of work around the solar system, the location of where this work is actually saved is actually within the student's My Site within the portal. Going to my site, I first of all have the concepts within my sites about being able to create a space that is my representation of who I am at the school. So I have my own blog, I have my own document store so that I can easily transfer documents from home to school using the power of the My Site. But actually, as part of what I do is learning, if I submit all of my entire coursework and homework for 7 through to 13 within my school or within primary school, that actually at the end of my life I have a single e-portfolio that's available for me to take on to my next learning or to be able to take with me to the world of work. So as you can see in the navigation here with my Dropbox, first of all it navigates with my year. Then if I click into Year 7, it'll show me my subjects. Then within there, it'll show you my classes that I was part of, and then the topics of learning that I did that year. All of my work saved in one central location. Moving into student mail. Students are limited in terms of being able to see the global address book, so they aren't able to see all of the estate across the school. But students will obviously have the ability that they can set these up to mobile devices so that they can have access on the move. If I click within my calendar, it's a really simple and powerful way of students being able to see their timetable on the move in terms of what classes they should be in, what rooms they should be in, but also as well, if we use the power of learning just to post homework, that actually we use the task lists cleverly within Exchange to actually give students up-to-date information about their homework, their coursework, as well as using the alert system that we'll all use in terms of reminders and so forth. Finally, as part of the axis of learning, we bring in the parent in terms of their involvement with their child's learning. We've considered how students have access to the teacher's work that's posted, but how do we increase that parental engagement for schools when we consider the agenda for September 2010 in terms of data, but where also as well the OpenHive helps extend it beyond data. So for example, as part of the parental process setting up accounts, parents have their own area as part of the portal where they can communicate, gather information and get hold of resources that schools feel are pertinent for parents. It is available so that parents can have discussions, it can be used for announcements. We can talk about things like uniforms and buses and various kind of lunches and as we require. But also as well, understanding the relationship between my child and me as a parent. We've extended the ability of what we can do for parents for data in terms of saying that actually, as well as saying we can show attendance and attainment, achievement, behaviour and homework, why is it that we don't actually allow parents to be able to see their homework? So as vital as part of that parental engagement, giving parents 2.5 minutes a day to be able to talk to their child about their homework, what it is they're learning and so forth. But obviously as part of September 2010 we are delivering the requirements in terms of online reporting to parents. So parents can see their child's attendance, they can see their lesson attendance, they can also see a roll-up of summary of their attainment, they can see behaviour reports, they can see all of the requirements of what needs to be satisfied for 2010 in a rich and engaging experience that again when we took the design aspects of what we wanted to achieve within Insight was allowing parents to be able to personalise the presentation so that it applies their own colour. So that in a very brief way is a quick demonstration of how OpenHive can help you as a school. With MIS integration so that timetables and information and data from the MIS system are updated automatically. Single sign-on as an experience so that when I'm logged on to OpenHive, I'm logged on to the services that I need to have access to. But also then taking the best of breed systems in terms of using Exchange as an email system, underpinning it with SharePoint in terms of portal technology so that schools benefit from the ability to be able to do document management simply, cleanly and easily. But also then extending that experience, using learning so that teachers can personalise their approach, that they can give information to students quickly and easily, but also the power then that communicates out to parents in terms of not only showing the data requirements for September 2010, but also allowing them to be able to see their child's work so that if they feel they need to or they want to, they can help with their child's learning. Thank you very much for your time in terms of looking for OpenHive. If you are interested in any more information, then please, on this following screen, you'll have the information about how you can make contact with us so that we can hopefully discuss things further. Thank you very much.